Right, 16 February 2026. Right, Nasi Ndine update. This update regards the um, burial of Blessed Runesu Geza. The passing of Blessed Runesu Geza, widely known as Bombshell Geza, on the 6th of February 2026, has exposed deep political fissures in Zimbabwe, revealing how political circulation seems to be eclipsing moral recognition of his liberation credentials and contributions. A veteran of the guerrilla war that secured Zimbabwe's independence, Geza emerged in recent years not as quiet retiree but as an outspoken critic of the current political order, a stance that complicated how the state and ruling party chose to remember him publicly. Right, as you can see, kuti imba yake iyo irapo iyo yakapiswa. Remember, this was during the time when he started, speaking against ZANU PF and the ruling party. Achitaura rakawanda wanda. That's his house, and it's still in that state as per the funeral. If you look here, Trikona, this is the wife of Blessed Runesu Geza. Ari pa funeral yake there. Right. Geza's prominence on the national stage peaked in 2025 when, after decades largely outside mainstream politics, he openly broke ranks with the ruling party ZANU-PF and President Mnangagwa. He accused the president and his allies of corruption, constitutional violations, and betrayal of liberation ideals, and he mobilized war veterans and citizens um, to demand accountability and constitutional adherence. His speeches and internet broadcasts often fiery and personal garnered significant attention, but also drew official rebukes. He faced criminal charges including incitement and undermining presidential authority and was forced into exile in South Africa. So when Geza died in hospital abroad, he was a strong public expectation, especially among opposition supporters and civil society, that his nation would acknowledge his wartime service with dignity. Figures across the political spectrum emphasized that war veterans like Geza had fought for Zimbabwean freedom when many others did not, and they argued that such historical contribution transcends later political disagreements. For his part, former lawmaker Themba Mliswa was unequivocal. Geza deserved to be declared a national hero. Mliswa praised him for standing up for his beliefs and noted his liberation war credentials as grounding for national recognition despite any differences his tactics and political viewpoints. Right. Handumuri kupanzwa hapo. Themba Mliswa ari kuti iye despite the political differences yatiinadzo, ngatiitei kuti Muchinda aite national hero. But as you know, it looks like kungoita any political differences, then it means you are an outcast. Hauchadeserve kana kuitwa any kind of recognition because unenge uri opposed to the current situation inenge iripo. Saka therefore you don't deserve to be a national hero or something like that. Handimurikuona. So panipa papa panoda kugadziriswa because ndo zvinozokonzeresa kuti kana papinda vamwe panobviswa vamwe paheroes eka pachipinzwa vamwe pachidini, and you will find kuti also chichaitika ipapa ndechekuti while you deny other people to be kuheroes eka, maybe it would be it will be done to you as well. Remember, Robert Mugabe is not by hero's acre, not because he's not a national hero or what, but because of the current situation in Engeiripo. Now, because the people, hama dzaningiri dzaRobert Mugabe dzakaona kuti munhu avepo is not doing it genuinely, ndosaka vakaramba kuti aende paheroes acre and all those things. So yeah, however, the Zimbabwean state's response has been much more cautious, illustrating how political considerations are reshaping moral judgment. President Emerson Mnangagwa has notably remained publicly silent on Geza's death and on whether he should receive national hero status, a designation that comes with official honors and burial at the Heroes Acre, one of the country's most symbolic recognitions. This silence appeared rooted in the fact that Geza spent his final years publicly opposing the president and mobilizing protests that rattled the ruling party. Zvaunongofanirwa kuita aba unongofanirwa kungoti vakomana, we know we had political differences. Iye aitaurawo zvaaiva achitaura, but as a reasonable person unongotaurawo kuti aiwazve tine urombo nerufu rwako nerufu rwaitika urwo, kana kuti any mawords anongoratidza kuti no munhu kana angofa muchivanhu tinoti afa anaka handiti. So there is no need yekutsamwira munhu anenge afa kana kuti hazviko zvinhu zvakadaro izvozvo muchivanhu chaicho chaicho kana tichinyatsotarisa chivanhu chaicho chaicho. Right. Within ZANU-PF, Christopher Mchwangwa, a senior party spokesperson and former war leader himself, struck a more nuanced tone. Mchwangwa acknowledged Geza's liberation credentials and said he deserved a decent burial and recognition for wartime service, suggesting that party structures and war veterans would work to ensure his liberation war status was preserved even if Geza had faltered politically late in life. But his comments also reflected an attempt to reframe Geza's later political actions as a lapse rather than a principled stand, implying that Geza had been misled or was no longer well when he criticized the president. Right, murikuona zvataurwa naMutsvangwa apa. Well, this is the first time pandakanzwa Mutsvangwa achitaura zvinhu zvine musoro. Apa pega ndo pandakatoona kuti Mutsvangwa anokwanisa kutaurawo chimwe chinhu chine musoro. Handi muri kuona. So critics argue that this careful positioning, supportive of liberation history, but reluctance to fully honor Geza in death, reveals a broader malice. Political difference has overtaken moral recognition. In other words, Geza's legacy is being weighed not just on his contribution to Zimbabwe's independence, but on whether his critics align with those still in power. For many Zimbabweans and political actors outside the ruling elite, Geza's life and death highlight a sobering truth. In today's Zimbabwe, moral acknowledgement of national service is deeply intertwined with the present-day political loyalty. Right, guys, ndoda kukuratidzai imwe picture. How come kuti pano apo, you see there, ndiri kuona ED Mnangagwa na General Chiwenga vachiinda kunoona Morgan Tsvangirai, who had political differences navo. Then what changed pana Geza apo? I want you to comment in that kuti chii chinokonzeresa zvinhu zvakaita sezvizvizvi.